Hey there, the doctor back here. And the thing that everybody is really wrestling with right now is what to pay our salon employees. There's so much talk about McDonald's pays this and Amazon pays that and Kroger and it gets to be crazy. And you wonder, what is it really going to cost me to get good employees? How can I make my compensation effective? Well, I've got some answers for you. And this doesn't come from something I talked or thought about last week. I've been managing people now for 54 years. And especially in this last couple of years, things have changed with COVID and, the compensation, stimulus compensation, whatever. So it's gotten a little bit crazy. So what I want to help you with here is what you should do to make your compensation more effective. All right, so let's talk about that right now. And why do longer term salon employees stay on the job? Let me tell you, working with so many hundreds of salons around the country, there are examples of people that work in salons that are not getting paid as much as they could get paid working someplace else. They could easily make more money other places, but they decide to stay at a tanning salon. And why do they do that? Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to get into that real quick. So is it all about higher wages? Is that what it is? Is that the only thing? I go to a biblical references here. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And what I'm saying there, it's like having cheap price strategies as your first approach to marketing your salon. And I can tell you right now, if your marketing approach, if your marketing niche on your tanning salon is that you are the cheap service provider in your market, if that's it, if that's all you got going for you, you're in trouble because somebody's kind of come over and come around and undercut you on particular packages or on lotions or whatever. There's an old saw in the retail business that if your whole business is around price, you're going to be out of business. It should be on value. So just like those cheap pricing strategies don't work so well, higher wages. Okay, you give people continually higher wages all the time. And if that's what they're looking for, is that's all they want, then they're going to find it. Um, any candidate who first and foremost wants only the highest pay won't be with you for a long time. Now, I don't blame them if some people want the highest pay because the reality is gas has gone up and everything has gone up. And so a good candidate may say, well, I really would love to work in a tanning salon, but I have to go where I can get paid the most. And so Amazon with the shift differential is up to 18 or 19 bucks an hour. Kroger is starting people at 15 or $16 an hour, whatever. And in our industry, we've had to adjust. We've had to adjust dramatically. I still have a tanning salon client, lovely lady and very successful business, but in a very small market. And what she was offering is the federal minimum wage, 7.25. And she'd be the first one to probably tell you today, as everyone will tell you, you can't do that anymore. I mean, that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get people at that kind of a rate. So, but even though when you get to a rate that people accept, if that's all you've got to offer them to stay on the job, they're not going to be around very long because they might look for the next place that pays them another dollar an hour. So it begs the question, why do good salon employees, workers stay at good salons? And the next question is why, and these are two questions to put together for you. Why does the industry lose about 30 to 40% of its potential revenues? I know this for a fact. I have examined the numbers of more than 600 owners and a couple thousand salons over my 31 years in this business. And I can tell you that we lose not quite as much as what we make, but we lose a big chunk of income. And it all comes down to, you see there in highlighted green, the dreaded 30-second syndrome. And what's the 30-second syndrome? And what does that have to do with what we pay for people? I'll get to it in just a minute. The dreaded 30-second syndrome. Person walks in the door, your person behind the counter. Hi, how are you today? Uh, Great, terrific. What's your last name? Tap, tap, tap on the computer. Jensen, okay, you were in bed number 5 last time, 9 minutes. Is that still good for you? Yes, that'd be fine. Bang, 30 seconds from the time they walk in the door till they're back in the tanning room. Now, Today, since we're in peak season and you got people lined up, you might say, well, we can't take a whole lot more time. But if you look at my Salon Essentials webinar that's on YouTube, you see that we talk about that. And one of the most important tools, the second most important tool besides the people that you've got working behind the counter, is the software. The software will tell you all kinds of things about that customer. How long ago it was that they started their tanning, if they bought a lotion lately. So the dreaded 30-second syndrome costs you a heck of a lot of money. Now, to avoid that is having good people. And so it comes down to the question, how do we get longer term salon employees to stay on the job? And that's me, the salon doctor. This is what I do. It's one of my specialties. My specialties are EFT pricing, marketing, and staffing. Those are the things that I do. If you want an expert on equipment, I know enough about it to get in trouble, but I'm not the expert. There are people in the industry that would know that better. But if you want a consultation on how to keep employees to stay with you longer, there's my number and my email address, and you just sign up for a free consultation. We'll go from there. So let me talk about, again, why do longer term salon employees stay on the job? Well, 7 great benefits. Boy, this is going to be good. If you listen to this, this is going to help you. The 7 great benefits great salon owners provide. So you got to add to a decent pay wage. You can't say, okay, if I provide these benefits, and you're already thinking I'm going to say medical. I'm not talking about that. If I add these wages, these decent wages, what are the other benefits that I have to provide? And will that keep me from never worrying about losing someone to wages? Probably not, but it's going to help you a lot. So you got to have decent base wages. You can't hire a new associate at $10 an hour anymore. You, you're throwing out a net, and if all you want to get in your net is carp, you can do that. Throw out cheap prices, you're going to get cheap quality coming back in the door. You can go someplace in this industry and you can buy old beds that look like a surfboard with bulbs on it, and you can buy them for nothing probably, but no one's going to want to use them. Well, it's the same thing with employees. Good employees are going to cost you. But if you have decent base wages and aggressive selling incentives, there are great benefits to add to that. And by the way, I want to concentrate on aggressive selling incentives. This drives me crazy sometimes, and I've got another mini webinar coming out to talk about selling incentives, particularly for EFTs. But that's the time you want to really be aggressive, is giving aggressive selling incentives for EFTs, more so than saying, okay, we'll give you another $2 an hour or whatever. Not that that's not important, but boy, at this time of the year, all the way through May and June, people can make a crap house full of money in your salon if they've got good incentives and if they've got the motivation. Now, to get that motivation, though, there are some other benefits that you have to provide. So let me give you what I call the 7 great benefits that great salon owners provide. First of all, we want to provide what's called meaningful work. We are not just a tanning salon. When you bring in your new employees, let them know we are not in the business of pigment augmentation. We are in the business of selling self-esteem, escape. People want to look better. We got to let these new employees know that they serve a valuable function in the community, and that provides meaningful work. Don't want them to think, oh, I work in just a tanning salon. It's not just a tanning salon. It could be a salon, a whole new experience and a new life for somebody. They have to look at it from that way. So make sure that your employees know this is a very important benefit to the community, not just a tanning salon. Okay. And one of the other benefits, we have to focus on employee development. What people are looking for today, they're looking for good wages, yes, but they're also looking for ways that maybe someday they can move on to something else. If you think that you're going to hire people, they're going to work at your tanning salon for the rest of the time that you own it, you're fooling yourself. We are not a lifetime career. Now, if you get up into senior management at a big chain, that might be the case, it might be a lifetime career. But if you're keeping an employee 2, 3 years, 4 years, that's great. But they might be thinking also about providing, are they getting portable skills? So that's another benefit. You want to make sure that you are into employee development and getting them portable skills. You want some examples of portable skills, just sign up for a free consulting and I will show you how to get uh, portable skills, things that employees can think, I'm learning something here, and this will give me help to move on. Number three, the opportunity to help employees do what they can, get them productive as often, as early and as often. Somerset Maugham, the great author, said, what everyone wants is someone that'll make us do what we can. What everyone wants in life is someone that'll help us do what we can. We're all looking for someone to motivate us. I try to do this with people all the time, but I'm always looking for someone to motivate me. And most of the time, by the way, I get that from good owners. We're talking, we're going back and forth on how to do our marketing, how to do our pricing, and how to do staffing. And I get motivated from that. It helps me to be productive. You want your new employees on the job to be productive as early as they can. Help them to be productive. When they are productive, and they'll produce for you and they'll produce for themselves. Okay, next, an emphasis on maintaining and enhancing self-esteem. If you want people to follow you, if you're a salon manager listening to this, if you're a district manager, if you're a salon owner, whatever, if you want people to follow you and be inspired, you got to help them with their self-esteem. We have in this country an epidemic of low self-esteem, particularly with service workers, if you want to call it that. And I'm not talking about an 18 or 19-year-old. I just would never. You want to hire a bed cleaner, fine. We need somebody with some maturity. Again, that's another webinar. But we need an emphasis on maintaining and enhancing people's self-esteem in life, whether it's with your children, your mate, your parents, with anybody, as long as you can help enhance or maintain someone's self-esteem. And what does that mean? Instead of focusing always on the negative, focus on the positive too. We need to keep people's self-esteem high that work for us, and they'll stay with you. People are looking for this. Okay, the freedom to initiate. We want people to feel that they can initiate. If you're saying to your employees, don't give out a single free upgrade unless you've got permission from me, you're killing their initiative. That's what we call initiaticide. It's the murder of initiative. Now, if you feel that you can't trust your employees to give out a free upgrade to get somebody from one level to another to experience that next level, if you think that's the case, then don't hire this person, or at least train them or retrain them or watch what they're doing. But I tell you, it is so powerful to remember our business is not about selling upgrades. It's about selling upgraded levels. So we want people to have that freedom to initiate an upgrade. Free upgrade is just an example. We want them also to know they can make a mistake. When new people start on the job, the first thing they're worried about is, oh, I don't want to screw up. I'm afraid to do anything because I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. There are big companies, big successful companies out there and in the tanning salon industry that will tell employees, don't worry about making a mistake. And as an employer, I've told people that for years. What I've said, if you want to worry about something, make the same mistake over and over and not get better at what you're doing. That's maybe something you should be concerned about. But let employees know they can make a mistake, so they will initiate. Okay, so reinforcement or rewarding real accomplishment and efforts as well. We want to reward and reinforce the things that they do well, real things that they do well. We don't want to get into soccer trophyism. We don't want to do that. But we also want to acknowledge their real efforts. Sometimes you might be standing up at the counter behind them, watching them trying to sell somebody at a higher level in a tanning bed and a more expensive lotion, and it just doesn't happen. But after that person's in tanning and whatever, you want to tell the employee, hey, I watched what you're doing. I might have done some things differently, but I got to tell you, I thought you did a heck of a job trying to get it done, and that was great. That's what people want to hear. They're afraid to make a mistake, and when they're reinforced that they made a good effort. And let me stop here. I have told audiences, I've told thousands of people that have worked for me for years. I said, there's two things, just two things as an employer that I won't tolerate. I won't tolerate somebody not making an honest effort. They want to sit on their butt, they can sit on their butt someplace else. Number two, I want them to have an honest effort, but number two, I want them to have a good attitude. They have a good attitude and they make a mistake, who cares? Move on. Let's move on. But if they come to me and they got a pissy attitude and they're not making any effort, they just want to sit on a stool and behind the counter and be on Facebook and talk to their boyfriend or do their homework. Don't put yourself through this trauma. Get rid of them. Of course, give them the feedback first and say, this is what I expect. And if they continue to do that, you don't have time for it. Move on. Okay, 7 great benefits. The next one that you can provide as an owner, making salon work fun at times. I've got salon clients that make it fun for me just to talk to them. They're so approachable on doing things for their employees. So if an employee does a particularly great job on selling EFTs in a month, they give them a gas card or something like that. Or they have me, by the way, they have meetings with them once a month. You should, it's a Sunday, maybe after the salon closes, whatever. We need employees talking to each other. We need people sharing best practices. You're going to find as an owner, if you're an owner or a district manager or whatever, you're going to learn things from those as long as you're not controlling the meeting all the time. Let the employees talk to each other. Because that's also part of, by the way, of making the job meaningful for them. Notice I say here, bored employees look for inspiration. You could take a bored employee that maybe has done a decent job on selling a particular lotion and a level of tanning, whatever, and have them talk about that at the next time that you have a salon meeting, and they will be inspired. They will be reinforced, their self-esteem, all the things we're talking about in this list of 7. So, look, I like to preach because I really love this business and I love to preach and teach. And there it is. You want a free consultation? Then go to my website and sign up or call me. There's my cell phone. Um, it's a little crazy right now. Seems that I'm getting a little bit more time right now because we're in a situation here in March where more owners are working in their job or in their business than they are working on it. You want someone to help you work on it? I'm here. Hey, thanks for listening to me, and more of this stuff yet to come. Bye-bye.